Hey guys, so I was just in North Dakota. I'm actually still there, just leaving. And I was making an initial appearance for my citation in the Morton County District Court. Well, it was pretty amazing what happened. Turned out I was in the wrong courtroom. So I'm sitting there as many of my Native brothers and sisters are going up and being charged with much more than they'd been cited with initially. They were initially cited with usually just trespassing, and then they were charged with, in some cases, up to 5 felonies. Some very serious stuff. Some of them had just been sitting in a prayer circle. Think about that. They were just sitting in a prayer circle, and they were charged with several felonies. It's possible that many of these people could face extended prison time if convicted of these spurious charges. Not to mention huge fees. So even if all of this was dismissed, the legal headache these people are going to have to go through is immense. The incredible stress, shocking. I was sitting there and my throat was starting to close up with stress because I had only been charged with trespassing. And most of them had in fact only been charged with trespassing. But as I was sitting there and watching person after person get up and be charged with far more, and the judge said, well, these are the formal charges now. That was just your initial charges. She had this little smile, this old lady. And you know, there was this picture of a chief on the wall as decoration. That was just rich. You know, you've got this courtroom with 2 almost expressionless police officers, a stone-cold judge who just every so often smiles, and who can't quite seem to wrap her head around all the charges, but emotionlessly reads them. There was an old guy who came in not even sure that he wanted to plead at all, either way, to his charge of trespassing, and he had some very good points about why they had no jurisdiction over him whatsoever. He was on treaty land, etc., etc., etc. So he came in almost as, I'll call it what it is. I'll call it a political prisoner, saying, you know, this is my treaty land. What jurisdiction do you have to charge me at all? Show me that first. Now, granted, in this particular legal system, there's no recourse for that. Obama, where is honoring the treaties? But they're not honoring the treaties. And instead of, in the state of North Dakota, there being any kind of accountability to the natives, instead, the natives are held accountable to corporations that are running the system. And I'll tell you what, the people in that court were mostly just cops. Some of the same cops I'd seen before. So you know what? It's very systemic. Well, so we've then gone through every single person, and my name hasn't been called. And I'm still sitting there sweating, waiting to be charged with more charges that I hadn't been aware of. And they say, well, hello, anyone else here? We've gone through the list. And I said, I was supposed to be in this courtroom, right? They said to go up here. And they said, oh no, you're supposed to be downstairs at the other courtroom. Oh, and you, other white person, you're supposed to be downstairs too. So my attorney turns to me and he says, looks like we showed up to the wrong color courtroom. Think about that. Think about the fact that they were charging natives with felonies for sitting on treaty land in a prayer circle. And my charges didn't go up at all. There was an older gentleman who was white, very old guy, and his charges may have stayed the same, but they were still misdemeanors. They weren't felonies, just like some of the other people that he had been with in a circle. And what he said was, he called them on it. He said, hey, you just charged these other people with felonies for doing exactly what I did. We were there together. That's institutional racism. He said that. What was their response? I'm sorry. Whatever. Here's the point. We have the most corrupt legal system, and we are using it to charge people who are peacefully protesting, not inciting any kind of violence whatsoever, sitting on treaty land in a prayer circle. We're charging them with felonies. Just think about that for a moment. I was ashamed to be an American citizen sitting there. And I hope that hearing this, you are too. And, you know, I thought it was so unfair that I was being charged at all. And then I arrived to discover that the full extent of what they were capable of was so much higher, and they'd raised the bar so much further than I would have ever imagined. It's shocking. It should shock you. And frankly, it should shock anyone who doesn't think that we're living under turnkey tyranny. Thank you. Remember to support everyone who's being charged at Standing Rock. They need help. If you know, even if you can't contribute, maybe you know someone who can, who would be down to help. Find fundraiser links for their legal team. Help them. They need so much help. They are being charged with so much, and it's so unfair. Thank you, guys.